With my assent to the Finance Bill and into Finance Act now 2026 and the Appropriation Bill Act 2026, Kenya now has both the legal framework and the resources to finance its priorities, create jobs, strengthen livelihoods, and invest in the future under the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. Budget is more than an accounting exercise. It is a statement of national priorities. This government serves the ordinary people, the farmers, the border riders, bloggers, the workers, the entrepreneurs, students, and every young person striving for a better future. Let me begin with the Finance Act, which has sparked an important national conversation about taxation, fairness, and development. Before the passage of the bill, Parliament conducted extensive public participation, received submissions from more than 170 organizations and over 100,000 individual citizens, and opened digital platforms for Kenyans to share their views and suggestions. Let me state clearly, this law does not raise taxes on ordinary Kenyans. Instead, it improves fairness by strengthening compliance, closing loopholes, and ensuring that every person and business pays what is lawfully due. We are pursuing tax avoidance, not taxpayers, offshore schemes, not ordinary wages, and leakages, not livelihoods. Contrary to propaganda, misinformation, disinformation, and fake news, the government did not propose any taxes that were largely alleged. Specifically, there was no proposal to introduce taxes on freehold land, or any land for that matter. There was no proposal to introduce taxes on second-hand clothing or mitumba. There was no change to the rental income tax regime as alleged. There was no proposal to introduce tax on bottled water. There is no new tax on M-Pesa or mobile money. The money you send to your family, your business, or your friends will move tomorrow as it has always done. There is no new tax on mobile phones, airtime, or data. There is no new tax on locally manufactured packaging used for essential products. The Finance Act also supports livelihoods and growth through incentives for motorcycles, electric passenger buses, electric bicycles, solar batteries, and locally assembled mobile phones, making innovation, clean energy, and opportunity more accessible to many Kenyans. In health, this act increases funding by Kenya shillings 43.1 billion shillings from last year, from 132 billion last year to Kenya shillings 175.5 billion this year. Primary health care will now receive 19.1 billion. As a result, let me state this very clearly, that no Kenyan should pay for outpatient services at dispensaries, health centers, and sub-county health facilities in any social health authority accredited, public, private, or faith-based hospitals. Let me make this very clear. We have had incidences where some hospitals around the country, public, private, faith-based, are charging citizens who go for outpatient services, yet that service has been paid for and provided by the government of Kenya. Today, I am making this absolutely clear to any facility in the Republic of Kenya that charges any citizen when they go for outpatient service, that we will shortly make it criminal for anybody to charge any citizen, because the Constitution of Kenya, Section 43, mandates the government of Kenya to provide health of the highest possible to every citizen. And therefore, with the provision of additional resources in the manner of 19.1 billion, citizens should now be able to go, as they have done, to hospital, consultations, medicine, treatment, and walk away without having to pay. Education receives the largest allocation in this budget. Kenya shillings 784 billion, up from 526 billion in 2022, has been allocated by this budget. This investment reflects a simple belief: every child deserves the opportunity to learn, to grow, and to succeed. To honor our commitment to teachers on contract, 20,000 teachers will transition to permanent and pensionable term, as has been provided by this budget. In addition, we will recruit a further 24,000 teachers, bringing the total number of teachers hired under this administration to 124,000 teachers. I had made a commitment of 116,000 teachers. Now, with this hiring of 24,000 teachers under this budget, we will have crossed the 116,000 into 124,000. The Higher Education Loans Board will receive 56.7 billion Kenya shillings, up from 15 billion Kenya shillings in 2022. And this is in recognition of what I have gathered as I moved throughout the country, listened to many students in our TVET and universities, that they needed additional money to fund their education. We have also allocated 40.4 billion shillings for university, KMTC, and TVET scholarships, and a further 6.6 billion to settle universities' lecturers' arrears that has been very long-standing. As a result, KMTC students are now eligible to apply for Higher Education Loans Board funding. This was not the case in the past, but now As I went around, specifically when I was at some point in Kisii, I remember one of the student leaders coming to me and telling me, Mr. President, we are as good as students in college as those in Tibet and as those in universities. I'm happy that I can respond positively to that student leader. Funding for free day secondary education and junior school capitation has increased to Kenya shillings 84.6 billion from 52 billion shillings in 2022, while 7 billion has been allocated for free primary education. We have further provided 1.5 billion for examinations, as I have just signed here today, and another 9.9 billion for the administration of national exams going into the future. To support 2.8 million vulnerable learners, Kenya shillings 3 billion has been allocated for our school feeding program to keep more students in class. And I want to commend counties that are partnering with us in making provisions for support of this school feeding program. Under the competence-based education program, Kenya shillings 15 billion will be invested in classrooms, laboratories, and STEM education, particularly in underserved areas. Kenyans will remember that one of the biggest challenges that we encountered when we came into office was shortage of learning spaces. So far, we have built 23,000 classrooms. These 15 billion Kenya shillings allocated under this budget will enhance more classrooms, more laboratories, specifically 1,600 laboratories that will be built, especially in marginalized and underserved areas. To address concerns raised by returning travelers, including Kenyans who travel abroad and members of our diaspora, we have increased the duty-free allowance from 39,000 Kenya shillings to 260,000 Kenya shillings for gifts and personal effects that Kenyans can buy as they travel or as they come home from their jobs abroad. We have also allocated Kenya shillings 3.7 billion to support all our 107,000 community health promoters through replenishment of kits and tools and by covering their social health authority contributions. As we all know, our community health promoters have been the greatest champions. In fact, they have been our shujas when it comes to matters health in every village, in every town, in every city. The kits they are using are now almost 2.5 years old. We are now going to renew all their kits. And because they are providing a service, the government of Kenya will partner with the counties to pay social health authority for every community health promoter. Mortgage tax benefits previously available through banks have now been extended to borrowers from registered microfinance institutions, enabling them to enjoy the same relief that has been available to borrowers in banks. To protect our sugar industry, the Act increases duty on imported sugar from Kenya shillings 7 shillings and 50 cents to 40 shillings per kilogram, safeguarding 17 operational factories, sugar factories that is in Kenya, and the livelihoods of 2 million farmers and 10 million Kenyans who depend on the sugar sector. A 6-month tax amnesty. A 6-month tax amnesty will waive penalties and interest on outstanding tax obligations, allowing taxpayers to regularize their affairs while improving liquidity in the economy, in their businesses, and in government. To progressively reduce our debt burden, projects undertaken through public-private partnerships and our new National Infrastructure Fund will now benefit from reduced taxes, lowering delivery costs, accelerating implementation, and improving efficiency. This is what a fair tax system looks like. One that protects the vulnerable, rewards enterprise, promotes compliance, and shares responsibility fairly.